All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Man, last time I said a different intro because I know most people don't watch this on Thursday, but you're watching Friday, Saturday. Hope you have a fun weekend ahead. It's March Madness season. We got MMA. We still have NBA. Next thing you know, MLB will be here. PGA Showdown, NASCAR, NHL. There's no NFL, which obviously reigns superior to most people, but man, so many other sports going on. Weather is warming in most places. Great time of the year. MMA still has great prizes. We have 14 fights, O2 Arena in London, 1 p.m. Eastern. Hey, that's all music to my ears. Big Marley, I know you have a little plumbing issue, some money out of the pockets, and not the best day for you over here, but maybe you ship and you pay for it all.
Yeah, we'll see. I could use it on this card. I don't know that it's my favorite card, like from a fan standpoint, but 14 fights, I think it is a tough one for DFS, so maybe it will end up being a good one. We'll see.
Yeah, I do think it is pretty tough in terms of like ownership will be spread out. The upper tier is really good. I think the mid tier is kind of weak, but you're going to be forced maybe to land there a little bit. And I don't like the 6K range much, but I'm going to be hammering some of these 7K options because, I mean, you can see right here, I put these odds up Monday, minus 1,200 to finish, minus 1,000, minus 600, minus 600. Right there, that's a lot of big boy expected to finish lines, and a lot of those are just the biggest favorites on the card. It's really one-sided that way. So that's kind of my broad slate right there. Any broad slate for you before we go fight by fight?
No, I really haven't even thought too deeply of from a DFS perspective yet. So kind of almost a first DFS look right here with me and you. I've looked at ownership a little bit, but I haven't even tried to build a lineup, so I have no idea how my lineup building process will be yet.
All right. I said mine. Let's see by the end of it how Big Marley thinks through this card. Again, all we ask for, like button, subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. 14 fights. We have no time to waste. First fight of the night, the closest line fight and the closest price fight. Actually, excuse me. It's the closest price fight. It's right now is not the closest line fight, but one of the closest. Minus 130, Luana, Carolina, plus 110, Melissa Mullins. The most likely fight to go the distance on the card at minus 260. Carolina plus 350 inside the distance. Mullins plus 450. Looks like a striker, Carolina versus a grappler matchup in Mullins, even though it's the most likely to go the distance. Will you have any in DFS?
Man, I really want to put this as a 1-star and not have either side of it. That's what I'd prefer to do here, but it is our mid-range fight of the week, and I do think both girls have potential of getting, in the 90K and the 90 range, which you would take at 8K or 8.2K. So right now I have it as a 2-star. Once I start building lineups, if I end up with none of it, I will move it down to a 1-star. And you'll see that if you're a member over at shippingnation.com. But I just think it is, for DFS purposes, it's going to be striker versus grappler matchup where Carolina needs to keep this fight standing for 3 rounds in order to score well. And Mullins, we need her to not accept a striking match and wrestle as much as she could in order for her to score well. But if it's going to be, like the line indicates, a back-and-forth fight, then I don't think we're going to get a big score on either side here. I would say Mullins is the more well-rounded fighter where she could strike in this fight. I don't think she would win, but she could maybe hang, and then she could get a takedown at some point to put her stamp on her rounds. But I don't think that Carolina would have anything to offer back if she is taken down. So I don't think she can really grapple with Mullins. So I don't know. I could see this one going either way. I picked Carolina as the pick, but that $200 savings, maybe that means something to me this week, and that could put Mullins as my preferred play. But ideally, we just don't have to care about this fight, and we get 70 from the winner.
Yeah, I do think this is probably one of the lowest owned fights on the card. So fading, it's not getting you any different. The mid-tier, there's 3 mid-tier fights on this card. This one, the most likely to go the distance. Shem, Abdul. This fight will definitely be more popular. Mason Jones and Sola, which, again, that fight's supposed to go the distance. probably will be a little more popular, but those are the only 3 mid-tier fights. It's not too strong of a mid-tier. It's actually, like I said, relatively weak. We had the line flipped in this one. Carolina opened plus 130, Mullins minus 150. Now Carolina the favorite at minus 130. With that being said, I still do prefer Mullins in DFS just because if she wins 14 fights, like I'm hunting some bit of upside. 90 I would absolutely take, but I think Mullins scores 90 a lot more in wins than Carolina just because she's going to be looking for takedowns. And Carolina, I mean, she's been taken down at least once in her last 8 fights. Mullins averages 2 takedowns per 15. I don't think Carolina's the craziest play if you're playing 15-plus teams because Mullins, she'll walk forward. She'll block punches with her face and kind of push a pace. Plus 350 inside the distance for Carolina. Obviously not great, but at ownership, not terrible. Plus 385 inside the distance. If Mullins can't wrestle, I do think there could be 100-plus significant strike upside if you bank a late finish in this one and Mullins just can't absorb all the damage. Carolina will be low owned. You can eat a lot of chalk, which I do like chalk on this card around it. So I do prefer Mullins, though, because I think she has more upside and she wants to get it to the mat, closely lined fight. But I don't think Carolina is the worst play on the slate. If you're only playing like 5-6 teams, I'm probably not playing any Carolina, but I would keep Mullins in my player pool. We'll go that's the most likely fight to go the distance, and this is the second most likely, both women's fights. Shanelle Dyer minus 500, taking on Ravena Oliveira plus 375, minus 240 for this to go the distance. Dyer plus 240 inside the distance. Oliveira plus 700. Yeah, I have it a 1-star too. I mean, like Dyer, if I had to pick a preferred side, I would go Dyer, just because, I mean, she's minus 500. Oliveira could be really, really bad. But with that being said, like you compare Dyer to Iwu, you compare Dyer to Mantas, you compare Dyer to Evloev, like all those fighters Pinto are much, much better. But ownership will reflect that. Dyer might be 8% and Oliveira might be 8%. Like this is by far the lowest owned fight on the card. With 14 of them, though, I think we can get different in other ways. So I'm in agreement, 1-star. How do you see it?
Yeah, I'm probably not getting to this one. I have it as a 1-star because I'm picking Dyer to get the win. I just think that this will mainly stay on the feet, and she's going to be the better fighter, on the better striker. She is a fast striker. She's got really nice kicks. She could put up over 100 significant strikes along 15 minutes. But the worry would be that she's either taken down or that she is knocked out. She was knocked down 3 times in her Contender Series fight. And I wasn't really impressed with anything about Oliveira, but she hits hard. She swings hard anyway. So it wouldn't completely shock me to see her get a knockdown. But I mean, I just don't rely on 115-pound women to get knockouts. That's like long-term fade for me. So that's why I have it as a 1-star. I put her as my 4 and Dyer as the 2 because I was thinking maybe Oliveira could help you get up to Barnowinski or whatever his name is, or all the guys that you named. But maybe the other way to go is the smarter way, where you just get Dyer as your pivot away from those people, and that makes your whole lineup different rather than squeeze in these popular people and then this one super cheap underdog who likely loses as your changer. So I don't know. I kind of hate it all around, but you could talk me into moving my 2 and 4 on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate your thought process. We do have a lot of big favorites. If all favorites win, that like the 6K range is weak. I have one fighter in the 6K range that we'll get to a little later that I'll play. I mean, I'll say it, Roman Dolidze, and I don't even like him either. Like this fight is expected to go the distance. If it's somewhat competitive, she squeaks out 40 points. That could be enough. So I just do think, I mean, Oliveira might be really bad. Minus 500 Dyer. If she just puts it on her and like the volume is there, a late finish, we've seen crazy things happen in the upper tiers. So mainly just the money line. I'm fine with it, but I definitely don't hope this fight's optimal. The more teams you make, if it's really chalky, like you're playing Evloev, you're playing another one of those 2 people, you're playing, I don't know, Sam Patterson or chalk. I don't hate it, I guess, but yeah, we wasted enough time on this fight. The 2 most likely fights to go the distance on the card, the only 2 women's fights on the card. What's up, Big Driggs? Happy to have you. Joining us live, Bradley in here, Mateus, YSN, Colton. We'll get to the favorite dog. I mean, man, my favorite dog last week, Bruno Silva, highway robbery. Again, that just shows the variance in UFC. I think it was minus 20,000, if I'm not mistaken, when it was closed, when Bruno Silva, or I think it was locked, but I believe it was minus 20,000 plus 7,500 going into decision. And yeah, he lost. That is one of the worst ones in my opinion. But hey, what are you going to do? Again, the variance in UFC. But yeah, we'll get to my favorites. I have one, I guess, but for me, it's a clear like 5 live dogs that are like lower tier fighters that I'm going to be jamming, and the rest I'm going to be way underweight to. Oliveira is one of them that I do not want much of. So this one, again, I put these odds up on Monday. It was minus 125, plus 105 Abdul. The lines flipped, though. Shem is now the small favorite at minus 115, taking him on Abdul, who's minus 105, plus 100 for this fight to finish. Rock plus 225 inside the distance. Al-Selwady plus 300. So the $400 cheaper fighter, now the very small favorite with the better inside the distance prop. I do think that leads, assuming ownership or the line stays here or continues to move in Rock's favor. I do think you see Rock as one of the more popular mid-tier fighters, probably the most popular mid-tier fighter. Value is relatively tough on this card. 7,900 goes a long way. Checks a lot of boxes. So I'm going to play some of him. But again, when you're going Shamrock, Evloev, Ewu, and all that, like you got to get different. And I do think when you're not playing Shamrock, I have some interest in Abdul because he wants to get the fight to the mat. Rock's a grappler, so I'm curious if he does still try and wrestle a bunch, But on the feet, I mean, a coin flip at worst for Abdul, probably the better striker. So yeah, I'm going to be playing both sides of this fight. Again, in the mid-tier, I prefer it more than Carolina Mullins. I don't know. It's close between the Jones-Sola fight. I really don't like the mid-tier much, but I like this fight, and I do think Rock's going to be relatively high owned, assuming that he stays the favorite. How do you see it?
Yeah, I like Rock in this one. I picked him to win, but he was the plus side when I picked him, and that did have a little bit to do with it. I think that Al-Selwady is the better, more well-rounded fighter, and the longer this fight goes, the more it's going to play into Al-Selwady's favor. But I would worry that he does look to either keep it standing early in the fight or he's stuffing takedowns himself early in this fight, because Shamrock is an aggressive grappler in round 1 and maybe early in round 2 as well. But he will start to fall apart as the fight goes along if it's not working out for him. And that would be the worry here. And after that happens, I think he would accept takedowns if Al-Selwady wanted to wrestle, or just if Al-Selwady wants to strike for 3 rounds, I think he could and he would win it that way. But he's not going to score doing that. So I don't really have a lot of interest in Al-Selwady, but I'm fine playing him. Shamrock with that aggressive round 1 grappling, I think he could get a back take, maybe get a rear naked at some point. He does have 100-point upside if he's going to win. And I think most of his wins are going to score over 85 points. So I like Shamrock. He's going to be an overweight play for me. I don't like that his ownership is going up, but I'm still going to be overweight to that new ownership as well.
Sounds good. Yeah, I like Shamrock, but I'm definitely going to play some Abdul. And I actually like Abdul more if Shamrock gets like minus 130, just because I do think the ownership would inflate more than it should, just for like 20 cents or 15 cents of line movement. Minus 115, minus 105 versus minus 130, plus 110. I do think people will look at that as a decent bit of difference. And yeah, I would take the ownership discount even more and the leverage from Abdul. But I'm playing both sides of this fight. There's wrestling upside, there's grappling upside, there's reversal, top control, all that good stuff. Next fight on the card, one of the best, in my opinion, and you have it a 5-star. It's minus 600 to finish. Brando minus 250, 260 now. Louie Sutherland at plus 220. Again, minus 600 to finish. Brando minus 210 inside the distance. Sutherland plus 300. Brando round 1 plus 200. The nice thing about Brando is Ewu and Mantas are clearly the most popular when you're in the 9Ks. Evloev is clearly the most popular, 8,900. So Brando's in between all these guys. That's going to get ownership, but I think he's going to be definitely lower owned than all 3 of those guys. And I'm fine, I guess, straight up leaving the money from Ewu or Mantas down to Brando and a way to get difference. I'm also totally fine just going Brando, Evloev. You leave like $300 and you don't even have the money for those top guys there. But minus 210 to finish, minus 600 for the fight to finish. Easy click there and easy click on the Sutherland side. Like if he wins, he's going to probably be the highest scoring dog, and we need that on this card. And I see you have 4-star Sutherland, 2-star Brando. So why do you see Sutherland as the better play? Are you picking him to win?
Yeah, I'm picking him to win. I think this is really a lot of recency bias in the line with just their one last fight each. Where what are we calling this guy? Pericic. He came in his debut, gets a first-round knockout, I believe, over a guy who I didn't know at the time and I don't remember now. And then Sutherland comes in and he fights Walter Walker. That's a way tougher matchup. He gets beat in the first round. I mean, that's acceptable to me. And then I was thinking of it as more, let's pretend these fights never happened and let's go back and try and cap this fight. I don't even know that you could pick a favorite. I think it's you're flipping a coin on this one. So I would much rather have that value on the underdog. I think that Perisic is going to be lighter on his feet, the better athlete in general, but Sutherland has more one-punch power. This dude's got a back like the size of, I mean, this is a big boy. I think it's only going to take one punch from him, where Ellison or whoever it was that this Perisic guy fought in his last fight, I mean, he was hitting him a couple times at the start of that fight where I feel like he was maybe moving away with his head up or something. I was watching these fights on Sunday. I don't remember it very well anymore, but there was something I just didn't like about that fight where I was thinking, man, if Sutherland was in there throwing bombs, he might have gone down. So I picked Sutherland. It wasn't that I feel good about him winning. It's that he's plus 230, and I think this is a pick'em fight. So I will be way overweight on the Sutherland side. I think he can break the slate. But even Perisic's best performance, let's give him 105, 110 on this card. He's still not a lock for the optimal lineup, whereas Sutherland would be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking 105, 110 all day long, but definitely not a lock. The upper tier, like we keep saying, a lot of heavily juiced inside the distance props. And then there's Evloev, who's the fight's expected to go the distance, but he has a lot of takedown upside. So agree with that. But I mean, I'm taking it at ownership in 9K for sure. But yeah, more of Sutherland wins are optimal than Brando. There's no doubt about that. So playing both sides, Sutherland, one of my favorite dogs on this slate. And again, I mentioned this especially because Oliveira, pretty much a fade. Trocoli, we're going to talk about, pretty much a fade. Franco, pretty much a fade. Austin Lane, pretty much a fade. So I need people down below when I don't like or when I'm crossing off a lot of other people. He makes a lot of sense to me. I want to say there was, line movement in this one. Oh, whoever opened this line must have been fired already. Minus 185 Sutherland is what they opened it at. What was it? Like 30 minutes later, it's plus 185. The line completely flipped, and then money has came in on the Brando side. But again, DraftKings put these lines out or puts the pricing out Monday. The line already moved a lot there, so it's efficient from what we're looking at. What's up, Nicholas? Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Next fight on the card, very easy for me. Mantas, minus 750, taking on Antonio Trocoli, plus 550. This fight is minus 1,000 to finish. Mantas, minus 525 inside the distance. Trocoli, plus 600. Mantas in round one is minus 175. He opened plus 120 in round one. So a lot of money came in on his round one prop. I mean, Trocoli's he's not UFC ready. He's not UFC caliber, in my opinion. Probably his last fight, I'd guess. But yeah, I mean, I think Mantas owns him, probably knocks him out, probably in the first round. And then it's like, all right, is 107 enough? Did he get 2 knockdowns at 113? Did he get a first minute bonus? How many other dogs won on this card? We talk about it a lot. Like, I like him, but when you're that expensive, it's not just your performance. It's what other people do. It's what other dogs do. So that's why I'm usually fine with a pretty wide range of outcomes on fighters like this. And we have Iwu, who's 9,500, 100 less, who's pretty much the same props right there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to force some. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get, and I do not want Trocoli.
Yeah, I'm going to X out Trocoli. He would need a flash finish in order for a chance to win, but he's just no good. I mean, this will be his 5th time in the octagon, never won. So I don't even know why he's getting this chance. I think he's going to get sent to full-time poker. But it's just not, I mean, over $9,500 is always, I'm fine if it's priced out of my lineups. But I am going to have Sutherland. That's going to afford me some of those 9K guys. So if I get 50% of this guy, I'm fine with it. Yeah, if I get 15%, I'm fine with that as well. And then you just hope that Ewu or Evloev, whoever it is that you went down to instead, outscores them. And I think that's absolutely possible. But yeah, give me first round, finished by this guy. I think it's going to be pretty easy.
Yep, don't think we need to waste much more time there. This next fight, I mean, kind of cookie cutter, straightforward as well. Biggest favorite, Mario Pinto, minus 900. Felipe Franco, plus 600. Minus 600 for this fight to finish. Pinto, minus 450 inside the distance. Franco, plus 800. Pinto in round one, plus 105. Open, plus 125. I mean, the big difference here, I guess, is just Pinto's more expensive than Brando, than Ewu. He has a worse inside the distance prop. He has a worse round one prop. I do think he's more likely to wrestle than the other guys, though, and I think he's lower owned. So take that for what it's worth. I like the idea of leaving the 200 or leaving the 100 more to those guys. But with that being said, that might even be more popular than people plugging in Pinto and leaving $0. I do think he's definitely lower owned than them. So how do you compare, I guess, the main question? I 1-star Franco, minus 900. I doubt you're playing him. How do you view Pinto versus Mantas versus Ewu in the upper tier?
Yeah, I really look at them as all the same. So I put this as the 3-star because he's the most expensive. I put Mantas as the 4-star because he's a little bit cheaper. And then I put Ewu as the 5-star fight because $9,500. I think that's the special number, man. Usually $9,500 does end up on the optimal lineup. Sometimes $9,600 and $9,700 get priced off. So I just always prefer that savings if I don't really have a big preference in the fighters. And I think Pinto could wrestle here, but I don't know that would be his best game plan. It should be Franco looking to wrestle in this matchup, but he's a 205er coming in to fight at 265, and Pinto's looking good. I just don't see how he's going to have any real success. Maybe he can get a takedown early, but I don't think he can consistently get takedowns throughout the fight. And Pinto looks like he could be a guy who just wants to fight where his opponent is the weakest. And I think that would be him wanting to keep this fight on the feet where, I mean, he probably would get a knockout at some point if he can keep it standing. But if he's spending the first round on his back and then he gets it in the second round, it's definitely too late at $9,700. So same thing as Mantas, but even wider range. Like I'm fine with 10% Pinto, and I'm also fine if somehow I got up to 50%. I highly doubt I'll be able to afford 50%, but if I did, I'd be cool with it.
Yeah, I doubt I'll be able to as well. I'd be fine with 10%, though. In a vacuum, he falls down the list from Ewu and from Mantas. And, I look at Pinto and Brando pretty similar in the sense of when they get wins. I think the ceiling's pretty close. I mean, they're both minus 600 to finish. I don't plan on leaving 700 very much because I can probably upgrade a dog somewhere else. But I think it's clearly Mantas, Ewu as the 9K plus guys in their own tier, and Brando, Pinto in the other ones. And Pinto's the highest price, so naturally I'll probably have a little less. And yeah, like I said, Pinto is wrestling upside, plus 350 by sub, but he's minus 185 by KO. So he's definitely more likely to do that. I just think versus Ewu, versus Mantas, he's the most likely to get a takedown if any of them were to. All right, next fight on the card, absolute banger, as almost every Nathaniel Wood fight is. We have Losene Keita minus 232, Nathaniel Wood plus 197, minus 115 for this fight to finish. Keita plus 125 inside the distance, Nathaniel Wood plus 575. You start, take it away. 3 stars all the way across the board.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I'm always team Nathaniel Wood. I'm picking Nathaniel Wood to win here. But this kid, he's scary, dude. He's a dangerous looking dude. He's going to be coming forward and trying to knock Wood's head off in the first round, and he might do it. Wood does take damage in the first round a lot. He's a slow starter. He just almost got knocked out in the first round of his last fight. But I think this is similar to that, where if he weathers that first round storm, I don't even think it'll be as close as it was in the last round. I think he kind of styles on Keita in rounds 2 and 3 and could win a unanimous decision here. So I am thinking that Wood is my 4 and Keita is my 2. But at the same time, I think Wood's kind of playing for a 10x score and Keita's playing for 110. So I do like Keita as well. Even though I'm picking him to lose, he's got a big ceiling. And when he is going to win this fight, it's going to be a first-round knockout. So I'm going to be – I think it is more of a 4-star for me rather than a 3-star. I just hate putting so much money into both sides of the pot, especially if I'm going to have like 20 or less lineups, which I usually do. Preferred play is going to be Wood, but if I end up with like 30% Wood, 30% Keita, I think I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be overweight on both guys. Like, Keita's going to be somewhat forgotten at 8,700. Maybe forgotten's the wrong word, but there's Evloev, who's 8,900. So that 200 people are going to try and get there. And then I think the ownership between Campbell and Keita is going to be relatively similar, but I do expect Campbell to be higher owned. I don't know. Maybe it's really close between those two. But yeah, he's going to get some ownership. I do think Nathaniel Wood probably a little more popular than Danny Silva, but these fights are really similar. You prefer the Campbell Silva fight? You have it a 4-star versus this one is a 3-star?
I actually just moved this to a 4-star, so no.
All right. Wood's my preferred play because we need value on the slate. $1,200 savings. He's just a good fighter. Like, when I can get a good, well-rounded fighter at 7,500 on a card that I'm not loving dogs, it's an easy click that way. But I do think other people kind of see it the same. Maybe Wood's like 21, 22%, and then Keita 26%, 25. You kind of get that make Wood one of the more popular dogs. You get more leverage that way. And again, a really good inside the distance prop. If this fight finishes, probably on the Keita side of plus 125 inside the distance, plus 325 in round 1. Not too bad for the price either, with his ownership in check. So yeah, good fight right there. Possible fight of the night, in my opinion. 2-star on this next one. All right, I'm excited to hear your take. Mason Jones minus 130, taking on Axel Sola plus 110, plus 140 for this fight to finish. Jones plus 245 inside the distance. Axel plus 350. Round 1 props really bad. Plus 675 plus for Mason Jones. If you're just looking at the stone, you will see Sola undefeated, 4-inch height advantage, but you will see Mason Jones with the 5.71 significant strikes per minute, 4.17 takedowns per 15 minutes. Those are some pretty appealing numbers. Do you think he has that type of wrestling upside in this matchup?
Kind of. I am on the Jones side. I think that I'm going to try to fade Sola in this one, and it'll be Jones or pass for me. I did move it up to a 3-star, though, because, man, when Jones wins, he scores well, and I think he can win this fight any way he wants to. The worry would be that he doesn't wrestle that much. He can still put up a high pace on the feet, but I don't know that he's going to score enough points. 8,400 though is a fair price tag. So I do like Jones, but I am going to try to avoid Sola, find me other probably cheaper underdogs instead. But it's just more so I'm trying to avoid the mid-range, and that's why I had it as a 2-star originally, kind of hoping that Jones wins, scores around 10x. But I don't know. I like Jones a lot as a fighter in general and as a DFS player. So I'm sure I get to a little bit more than a 2-star worth of Jones. So I bumped it up to a 3.
Yeah, I'm on the Mason Jones side as well, just because he does more. He's like always a fighter I enjoy watching. He wears damage really poorly, but he pumps the jab. He's in your face. He can strike. He can wrestle. Top control. Like, he just flows well. At 8,400, I'm getting a good fighter that can push the pace a little bit, that can have wrestling upside. But I'm in agreement. I don't love this fight. So, like, do you prefer the Shamrock Abdul fight to this one?
Really, it's just completely different for me because I like the underdog in the Shamrock and I like the favorite in this one. It's kind of going to be almost all my exposure will be on the Rock side and almost all will be on the Jones side. I would say, I guess, as a whole, I do like the other one more because I'd rather play Al-Selwady than I would Sola.
I do prefer that one if having to choose as well. Do you prefer this one or the Carolina Mullins fight?
This one for sure.
Yep, agree with both of those takes. All right, next fight on the card. I love 14 fight cards. I mean, rapid fire, it takes us longer to talk through all the fights, but for DFS-wise, for just entertainment-wise, it's always the more fights, the better. The ownership more spread out, the less likelihood for big dupes, and that is what we're playing for sure. Curtis Campbell making his UFC debut at minus 240, taking on Danny Silva plus 205, plus 140 for this fight to finish. Campbell plus 215 inside the distance, Silva plus 450. I mean, it's just another fight. I like very similar to the Keita Wood fight. I think ownership's pretty similar. People are definitely going to want Evloev for 100 more than Campbell. And Danny Silva is going to be a dog that people play. Its ownership's going to be in check, as most underdogs are outside of probably Lerone Murphy. But 6.67 significant strikes per minute, 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. That's good. If he wins as a dog, he'll probably score solid. I'm more worried. So Silva's my preferred play for that reason, the 1,400 savings. Talk to me about Campbell's upside and how much do you think he wrestles in this fight? Looks like a well-rounded prospect at 23 years old. But yeah, how much do you think he wrestles in this one?
I think he wrestles a ton right away. I like his aggressive wrestling style. I really didn't see a whole lot of his striking in most of what I saw. He didn't have much interest in striking. He looked like he wanted to get to the fight to the ground, and when he did, he just mauled everybody that he was fighting, and I love that style. So I'm big time on the Campbell side of this one. I don't think he's going to want to strike with Silva, and if that is the case, he's going to put up a big score. So I like Campbell. The worry is that he can't land takedowns. I don't know that he can strike with Silva, and Silva can put up a high pace on the feet. So I think he could also kind of be one-way traffic if it were to be a striking match. I just don't see that being the case. I think I would bet on Campbell getting a takedown in the first 2 minutes of this fight, if not more than one takedown in that time. I think he'll be going right away in the first 20 seconds. He'll be shooting. So I'm going to be heavy on Campbell in this one, and I think that's going to lead me to no Silva.
Wow, no Silva. That'll be a relative hot take, but
depending on how many lineups. So the more I get, the more interested I'll be in Silva. But right now, I would rather go to Wood. I would rather drop down to Sutherland. Shamrock, we also talked about. So those are 3 I'm more interested in already.
It is worth noting that the individual, like how you win the KO, the sub prop, has definitely closed on the Campbell side. So Campbell opened plus 335 by KO, now plus 450. He opened plus 850 by sub, now plus 500. So that's kind of going to what you're saying. People thinking he wrestles more too, which you definitely want at 8,800.
His TKO prop though won't be that's not striking though. He'll ground and pound his way into a TKO too. So I wouldn't feel good about him getting a submission. He could definitely flatten out Silva and just be really active with his G&P and get a stoppage that way too. So I picked him as inside the distance as when I send my picks to Sportsline, I always give them either TKO, submission, or ITD. And then when I put my picks over on Ship It Nation, I narrow it down to an exact round for whatever my finish is. So you can go figure out what it is that way. But I put ITD for Sportsline because I didn't know which way this guy was going to end up going. I just think it's going to be on the ground where he gets that finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's plus 450 and plus 500. So there's pretty much a coin flip each side now if you did know there was a finish on which way it would go. But yeah, I mean, I was already going to play a little Campbell. You made me like Campbell a decent bit more than Keita now with how much wrestling you do think he does. And Danny Silva, another one of my favorite dogs. Him, Nathaniel Wood, Louie Sutherland. Like, I want one of these guys to win because if they do, I think they score relatively good. 5 fights left. Another big favorite in this one. Christian Leroy Duncan, minus 500. Taking on Roman Dolidze, plus 385. Minus 140 for this fight to finish. Leroy Duncan, plus 100 inside the distance. Dolidze, plus 575. Christian Leroy Duncan, plus 300 inside the distance. So a little money today on CLD finish. Plus 335 at open in round 1, now plus 300. And he was plus 110, I believe, inside the distance, now plus 100. With that being said, it's still tough for me to get there. I prefer Brando, and I prefer Evloev for cheaper. I prefer Iwu. I prefer Mantas for more expensive. With all that being said, I think the field will also see that the same. And it's kind of like a Dyer situation is how I see Duncan. Will be forgotten a little bit. But I do like Duncan more than Dyer if having to choose, just because this fight's expected to finish where Dyer fight isn't, and his inside the distance prop is over 2 times better. With all that being said, Roman Dolidze is still my preferred play. He doesn't usually score because he's so passive and just sits on his back foot and relies on power, but he's better on the mat. Like, if Christian Leroy Duncan does try and go after him, Dolidze would be smart to try and do takedowns, maybe try and grab an ankle or do something that way. I don't like the 6K range, so Dolidze will be one I do play, but not a fight I love.
Yeah, I mean, the line is so wide that when I was writing it up originally, I was like, you know what, screw it. Let's go Dolidze. Because I was thinking if he does take it to the ground, man, I think he could finish this guy, to be honest with you. But he's also never been knocked out, I'm pretty sure. I think he could stand for moments with Duncan, and he could also knock Duncan out. But then I was like, gosh, I just don't think he's going to wrestle. It's probably going to be a striking match. Maybe he lands one takedown, but I don't think he would consistently wrestle if he didn't get a finish with that takedown. And then if it is going to be 2 rounds of striking, I think it is going to be a clear 29-28 for Duncan. So I did pick Duncan as my pick to win. But at 9,300, I have no real interest at all in DFS. With 20 or less, I'll X them out of my lineups and go to those other guys you named instead. And I do have Delize interest in DFS because if he wins, I'd expect him to put up a decent score. And if not a good score, he's cheap enough to where he'll get it close to a 10X. And he allows us to get those guys who did get the big score into our lineup. So I'm on the Delize side of this one. I have it as a 3-star right now because I'm probably going to be no CLD and overweight to Delize. But if I don't end up with as much Delize as I'm thinking maybe I will, then I'll bump it down to a 2-star overall.
I would have it. I look at this more of a 2-star as well, but Delize is my preferred side, like yours as well, due to the $2,400 savings. Before we do talk about these last 4 fights, just want to show, if you're not a member at Shipping Nation, you haven't seen, this is our homepage, shippingnation.com. If you do want to join us, join the nation, bottom left. You can get in for, as low prices as in the industry. If you want the day, $9, you get all of our content above, including SaberSim. The better deal, 5 days for $19. If you did sign up on Friday, you'd get PGA Showdown, you'd get MMA, you'd get NASCAR, you'd get NHL, and you'd get NBA, and you get the Discord. So we do talk some college basketball in there. There's tennis, even though we do not charge for it. Access to the Discord is a very big piece of our content. If you're just wanting to play MMA, projections, ownership, slate plan, tier rankings, core reports, again, access to the Discord where usually I tag in line movement updates in that. You can get in the year, obviously cheaper than the month. If you want SaberSim, you can find that out as well. But we would love to have you at the nation. Again, single sport options, all access options, trials, whatever fits you most. And yeah, I think you should give us a try if you have not tried us out already. Let's go back to this. Share this. Boom. All right. Next fight on the card. Keep talking about one of the biggest favorites, Iwu, minus 600, taking on Austin Lane, plus 425, minus 1,200 for this fight to finish, the most likely on the card. Iwu, minus 600, inside the distance, Lane, plus 625. Iwu in round 1, minus 175. Iwu by murder. Iwu open minus 125 in round 1, by the way, so has taken 50 cents. Yep, I agree with Nicholas. Austin Lane is going to get slept. That is that's the chalk take. I'm on the chalk side. No Lane. I'll play as much Iwu as I can get. If I had 20%, I think I'm good with it. But, he's going to be popular. So if you're playing him, if you're playing Evloev, if you're playing Murphy, if you're playing Shamrock, if you're playing Mantas, if you're playing chalk, you better get different somewhere with him.
Yeah, Xing out Lane here. I just don't think he has any business in the UFC. He would need a flash knockout in order for him to win the fight. But I think that Iwu knocks him out. I think Iwu would be the minute winner if it were to be a striking match. But whenever he wants to go for that takedown, he's just going to dominate the fight on the mat en route to a submission or ground and pound finish. I think it's easier to quit to a submission. So I'm going to pick rear naked choke for Iwu. And Lane's going to be looking for that tap real early.
All right. Iwu by sub, plus 450 versus his KO, minus 260. KO open, minus 170, now minus 260. Iwu by sub, open plus 335, now plus 450. So a little contrarian route for our man Big Marley, if you want to check out that. And always price shop in all sports, but MMA especially. And we're going to get to a fight. Actually, maybe it was this one. Iwu minus 600 inside. Actually, they corrected it now. Earlier, this fight was minus 600 money line for Iwu and minus 650 inside the distance for Iwu, which obviously makes no sense, but occasionally books do something random like that.
Hey, when that happens.
Yeah, makes no sense. All right, 3 fights left. Next fight on the card, Michael Page, minus 180. Sam Patterson, plus 155. Minus 170 for this fight to finish. Page, plus 160 inside the distance. Patterson, plus 210. I'm definitely on the Patterson side. I keep riding him. He's made some money for me as an underdog. He also lost as a big favorite to start his career, but he's just well-rounded. He's big. He has tall man's defense and a questionable chin, which is his biggest concerns, but he has power. He can grapple. He can wrestle. He has cardio. Michael Page is not a fun fighter to fight against, though. Not a fun fighter for DFS most of the time either. All of his fights go to decision, but this one's minus 170 to finish after opening minus 160. So I'm pretty torn on what to do with the Page side. I'm definitely playing Patterson, grappling, upside, submission upside. But yeah, I mean, most Page fights go the distance. This one expected to finish. Why do you think that is the case, and how do you see it going?
I'd say that's the case because I don't even remember the guy's name, but that one guy who's a nobody who knocked out Patterson. Page has a whole lot more power than him. He's an awkward striker, kind of hard to figure out early. I think Page knocking him out in round 1 is possible, but that's the only way Page scores. Like, I can't stand watching Michael Page. If you're playing DFS, like, he's just the first X every single time he fights for me. He's got 3 UFC wins, averages less than 50 points. And if you give him a win in his other one, if you say he won the decision, still less than 50 points in that win. Like, that's pathetic. So I'm completely out on Page. When he gets his round 1 wins, I won't be winning those nights. But that's just a long-term fade for me. Give me Patterson to win. Give me Patterson to be the better grappler for sure, I think. More dangerous submission grappler. I also think he could be the minute winner on the feet. He's going to have more volume. And, I mean, Page is getting up there in age as well. It wouldn't completely shock me to see Patterson knock him out. So I think Patterson's the value side, and he's my DFS side as well. I'll be overweight for sure.
Yeah, I'm on the Patterson side. I don't know. I'm debating what to do with Page just because people have that same thought of him. He's plus 475 in round 1, plus 160 inside the distance after opening plus 170. The props and everything's there, but man, he is so boring. He is just such a counter puncher. With that being said, he hits like a truck. If Patterson does overextend, Page can flatline him for sure. But I think Patterson more ways to win. When he does win, I think he does score much better for his price at 7,600. 2 fights left. Co-main event time. Luke Riley minus 190, taking on Michael Aswell plus 165, plus 105 for this fight to finish. Riley plus 175 inside the distance. Aswell plus 425. Take it away. Who's your preferred side? How do you see it going?
I'm going to go with Riley is my preferred side, my pick to win. But Aswell, I wouldn't say he's not in play. $7,100 is cheap, and he can put up volume, and this should be a striking match. So if you like Aswell, play him here. But I see that the way I see it going down is Riley, he is a slow starter. So Aswell maybe beats him in the first round based on volume alone. But then once Riley starts going, I just think he's going to be on a different level than Aswell, and he picks him apart in the second and the third round, if not getting a finish in one of those 2 rounds. But if he's going to drop the first, we probably need him to get the finish in the second or the third round. So that's why I have this as a 2-star. I don't have a ton of interest in Riley because he's $9,100, and he's not going to look to wrestle. He is a striker and a slow starter, so he's probably not got a great chance at the round 1 TKO. So I'd rather go to all those other guys. I'd rather save $200 and go to Evloev like everybody else will as well. So overall, it's a 2-star because I'm picking the favorite to win a striking match.
I prefer the underdog. Part of it is, if you look on Monday, Riley was minus 300. Now Riley's minus 190. A lot of money on the Aswell side. Aswell, as you can see, significant strikes per minute, 9.56. He's a Joshua Van guy. He'll throw a lot of volume, not the most power by any means, but this fight also open minus 115 to go the distance. Now plus 105. If this fight does go the distance, Aswell, if he wins, a lot more likely to be optimal than Riley. 2,000 cheaper. Riley's just competing again with Evloev, with Brando, with Iwu, with Mantas. Just a lot of better fighters or higher upside fighters, it seems, in the upper tier. Aswell 7,100, not competing with too much. Maybe 69 is enough if he gets that in a decision win. So definitely on the Aswell side. Myself will not have too much Luke Riley. Main event time. Masvar Evloev minus 225. Lerone Murphy plus 190. Plus 225 for this fight to finish. Evloev plus 300 inside the distance. Murphy plus 650. I'm on Evloev all day. I debated fading Murphy, but at the end of the day, with 14 fights, if he does win, he's probably going to score because he has 5 rounds to work. I do think he comes in over-owned when it's all said and done, though. Evloev might be the most popular, even if he is 50%. Like, I can get overweight that. He's just a takedown machine. He has 25 minutes to work. And, yeah, I mean, as long as his cardio holds up, Murphy can get taken down. Somebody's has to go, even though I do think Daniel Santos beat Lerone Murphy years back. And I think the judges, I mean, Lerone Murphy was in home territory and he's in home territory again, but I thought that was a robbery for Santos as well. But yeah, Evloev for sure for me as my preferred play. What about you?
Yeah, Evloev all day. Santos took Murphy down 5 times in that fight. Tukhugov took Murphy down 6 times when they fought. Amir Khani took him down 5 times. Like, these guys, they're not even in the UFC anymore. Josh Emmett, a striker, took him down 4 times. I think Evloev takes him down at least 10 here, and he's going to score a big DraftKings score. He's going to score more than everybody else by 20, I would think, on this card. So he is my favorite play on the card. I think it's going to be like a 50-44 type of score. I'm going to pick him to win every single round here. Maybe not the most exciting, like don't invite your boys over because this main event's going to be a banger, but it's going to be a good DraftKings score for the winner, and I think that winner is Evloev. So he'll be my core play, and I just moved it to a 5-star Evloev, 1-star Murphy. With 10 or less lineups, I'm just either all in or Evloev or like going to another favorite to get different rather than going to Murphy, because Murphy will have enough ownership where I'm not even going to try and match that. I don't even want half of it. So I'm just going to X Murphy out and hope that I'm right.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I was leaning initially. 10 teams, I would still have no Murphy. If I'm playing 30 plus and something, 10% Murphy, 15, like you're really making a tough stand otherwise. But I agree. If I'm making 10 teams, I have 10 Evloev or I have 8 or 9, and then the other one's a fade. I do think Murphy will be over-owned. I mean, Evloev's just a really tough matchup for him with his takedown defense when it's all said and done. And, man, yeah, we've seen Raul Rosas Jr. and then Oralby back-to-back just wrestlers putting on big boy scores there. So maybe Evloev can do the same. That's 14 fights. Yeah, why has Evloev been out so long? I mean, he's been around like what? He's been battling some injuries. He's talking about he does 1 million push-ups.
Yeah, he might be on the juice a lot, to be honest, but I don't know.
Might be on the juice cycling. Definitely getting ducked a lot, but yeah, I don't know. Nothing has came out there. Probably battling little injuries. Maybe the juice thing. Definitely getting ducked a lot. People do not want this fight. There's no doubt about that. So props to Lerone Murphy for taking it. And honestly, the line's a little closer than I did expect, but that's all 14 fights. Fingers crossed. Everyone makes weight. 1 p.m. Eastern on Saturday at the O2 Arena. Big boy prizes. Very excited for this one. Final thoughts for you, Big Marley.
Yeah, the line is a little closer than I thought it would be. I think it's almost playable here for Evloev, so maybe I'll end up having a bet on him as well. I think it could be just really one-way traffic in this one, but hopefully it's a good DFS night. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Good luck, everybody. Appreciate the support. Like button, subscribe button on the way out. Helps us out a ton. And if you do want to join us, shippination.com. Join the nation. Single sport packages for just MMA. Daily passes, 5-day passes if you want to check out the other sports as well. For Big Marley, I'm Title Town. Good luck this weekend. Be safe. Enjoy it. Peace.